Hi. Well, it might be a new year, but we are starting it off with Old Loves, and I could not be more happy about it. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. The movie is officially out. It feels like this has been so long in the making. It's just very weird. I'm having kind of an out-of-body experience looking back on the first time that I read this book because it doesn't feel that long ago. It feels like it's still kind of like a newer love of mine, but I was looking back on my YouTube channel and I read this book 5 years ago. Like, feel like I have lived 10 lifetimes in those 5 years. When I look at my first book review of this book, I don't even know that girl. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm 28. I was 23 at the time that I read it. And going into this movie, I've been so excited about it. I've been waiting for it. I've been seeing, when the casting came out, Tom Blythe, Emily Bader. I just could not be more excited seeing all the behind the scenes, the clips, the trailer coming out. I've been so ready to watch it, but something just happened to me the week before it came out whenever I kind of put all the pieces together of how long it's truly been and how much younger I was when I read it. I'm like, you know what? I just want to do a reread. I want to read it one more time through before I watch it, and that's what I did. I'm always a little nervous whenever I reread a book that I love, especially if it's been a while. I feel like I tend to either reread books kind of right away when I love them, but whenever I've waited a while, it's just kind of scary because there have been times that I've reread books and you have this deep love for them and you think of them so fondly, but then you reread them and your frontal lobe has developed and you're like, what was I thinking? This is just not the book I thought it was. I don't feel the same. And that's very sad. Sometimes you just want to leave things as they were when you first loved them. But this experience with this book was just very, I don't even know how to explain it, cathartic. It's just because the experience of reading it as a 23-year-old woman versus a 28-year-old woman, I feel like that's almost the way you're meant to experience this book, because Poppy in this story is 28, I think, 28 or 29. So she's in her late 20s. So, of course, when you're 23, you think you know everything. So I'm reading it the first time. I'm just like, yes, I relate. I get it. I love Poppy. But now reading it, I just see so much of my 23-year-old self in her. And I just loved it. So this video is going to be about me talking about the movie adaptation of People We Meet on Vacation, but I cannot talk about that without talking about my experience rereading it, just talking about my love for this book all over again. So I'm going to ramble about that for a while. If you don't care and you're just here to see me talk about the movie, I'll put a timestamp down below and you can just fast forward. But for now, we just need to talk about this for a minute. The first time I read People We Meet on Vacation, this was the first book of its kind for me, which is really crazy to say now because since then there have been so many books with this kind of structure. It's one of my favorite type of reading experiences, but it was new to me when I read it. The kind of structure of, a story where it's two people coming back together and now present day, they have a history, they have a past, something clearly went wrong. They've had some disconnection somewhere. But then you slowly start to get these past chapters and you get to start from, the very beginning, see them first meeting. And then as the chapters are going, you see, you start to put the pieces together of what happened, what went wrong here. Why these people who were so close, not speak anymore, and what has brought them to this present day. And seeing that through this story, a friends to lovers story especially, it just made my heart explode. It's just such an immersive reading experience. And we have Poppy and Alex who are just so polar opposites, but it's funny in a way. I feel like this book is just meant for eldest daughters because I feel like just personally, I am so Poppy, but I'm also so Alex. It's the intersection of the two, kind of all of their, I don't want to say their worst traits, but the traits about them that can make life challenging for them or make them get in their own way of Poppy, being from this small town and just wanting nothing more growing up than to get out of it, go to the big city, travel. She just wants to experience it all, see everything, but also the part of Alex of, wanting to have that stability, wanting to, be in a comfortable place and just have a home and just have that dream of the picket fence and all of that. A lot of people, you can be one or the other, but so many of us, we kind of are right there in the middle of yes, we want that family life. We want to have a comfortable, healthy, stable relationship, but also we know there's so many other options for life out there. We want to see everything there is to see. We don't want to feel like we missed out on any of it. And I just feel like this book, you explore so much of that. And it's so hard, seeing how opposite the two of them are, but then seeing the love that they have for each other and how they can meet in the middle and how, you can love someone, but sometimes at the end of the day, love is not enough. Like there's just so many things in life that have to fall into place, and so many things about two people that have to be compatible in a way to make a relationship work. And it's so frustrating reading from the outside because you're like, I love these two people so much. They clearly love each other so much. Like, why can you not make it work? But obviously they do make it work in the end. Spoiler alert. It's just funny. Like your 20s are such a weird time. Whenever you're young, you think you know everything, and you think that like everyone kind of thinks they're the main character, I feel like, in their life. And you know, Poppy is so the representation of that. If she just, again, is just doesn't see the charm of her hometown. She can't appreciate it, and she just can't even begin to comprehend, like, Alex, like, why would you want to stay there? What is it about that place? Like, I have no desire to ever go back. Like, I want to go and see everything else. And so she like kind of escapes by going on these vacations, and then yes, like Alex ends up coming along with her, and they have like all these memories. And just, I mean, vacation is really so magical. I mean, that's what the whole book is about whenever you're on vacation, you just feel like you can be anyone. You feel like you almost don't exist in a way. Like, nobody here knows me. I can like be whoever I want. I'm never going to see these people again. It's just like a time where you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have work going on. You can just like truly be in the moment. You can have a drink on the beach at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, and it doesn't matter, and there's no rules. And it's just like such a fun, like some of my fondest memories. I feel like my fondest memories in life are vacations that I've had with my friends. Like, I just look back on that and I'm like, that is what it's really all about. Like seeing new places, meeting new people, just like truly being able to unplug and think about nothing but fun and like fun times with your friends and like the love you have for each other. And yeah, it's like it's really easy to get frustrated at Poppy, but you know, again, like as I'm now older reading this story, it's like, it's really scary having to decide what your life is going to be, you know? And something that you do learn as you get older is that no decision is permanent. Like, I remember the first time I read this book, just like my chest was so tight, because it's like, I love Alex and he is like the perfect man, and he's so kind and he cares so much for Poppy and he'd do anything for her. And it's like, why would you not just like want to be with him? But, and like, what is the problem? And you love him, but you know, it can feel like, oh my God, but if I commit to doing this and like I stay in my hometown, then like I lose this other piece of myself. And you like don't want to lose yourself in a relationship, but also like relationships are about compromise, and there's just like so much to it. And you know, a part of the book that really hit me, I kind of like got a little weepy. I cried a couple of times rereading it, because a part of it that really sort of hit me was, which this wasn't in the movie, which I'm going to talk about all the differences in the book and the movie, don't you worry. But whenever Poppy's in New York, kind of towards the end of the book, and she's kind of, her and Alex have gone their separate ways again, because it's just like, we're never going to be compatible. It's never going to work. And she's in New York City, just like feeling like she's on her island away from her hometown, and she's in the subway and she runs into her high school bully, and like he steps off the subway. And that is such a jarring moment whenever you're an adult and you feel like, again, you've like escaped it all. Like you're away from your hometown, you're away from anybody that knows you, and like you've built this whole new life for yourself, and like you're a businesswoman, and you're, you know, you just feel like on top of the world, and like you've completely just started anew. And then you run into someone from a past life, and it's like, oh my God, we're all just people. Like, we're all just trying to get through this thing called life. And you can run as far away as you want from your old life, but it's like, it's always going to be a part of you. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And at the end of the day, those people that knew you, they still know you as that. Like, you might think, oh, I went off and I've done all these things, but like, nobody cares. Like, nobody cares about what you're doing but you. And nobody is thinking about you nearly as much as you think about yourself. And that is just the truth. And I know that Poppy, it's like, her whole thing is, oh, she's just like quirky and she's out there and she doesn't care what anybody thinks, and she just like is here to have a good time. But you know that at her heart, she cares so much about that. Like, she had a hard time in school and she hated school. And so now she's like, I'm away from all of that. And I'm just like, you know, it's good to look back and on your bullies and stuff and think like, I'm on top of the world. Like, I'm away from that. And, you know, like I'm doing so much better. And it's like, at the end of the day, nothing matters. Like, none of this matters. We're all just like on a rock in space. And what truly matters is the people you have around you. Like, it can be so easy to be chasing after these goals and chasing after this idea of this life that you think you want. And then all of a sudden you look around and you're alone. You're alone doing that. And it's like, what is even the point of this? you know, Poppy fell in love with vacationing through doing it with Alex. And like, you know, now as in her adult life, she gets to vacation as a job, but it's like, is it even fun anymore? Because she's going alone. Like, what was so amazing about traveling is getting to do it with people that you love. And I am like such an introvert. I love my alone time. I need my alone time. This isn't about like, oh, you shouldn't want to be alone. It's so important to learn how to be alone as an adult and learn to love yourself and learn to put kind of what you want as the most important thing for a while in your life. I really think that it's important for everyone to do that. But at the end of the day, it's all about love and the people we spend our time with and the people that we do these things with. And I think that's really kind of like the moral of the story here. And, you know, I think Alex and Poppy made each other better and they pushed each other out of their comfort zones in the best way. So I just love this book. I think it's like, you know, I think it's for everybody, but I think truly if you're like a woman in your 20s, like this is just, it's a fun book. It's a fun time. It's a rom-com. Like there's funny parts of it. There are goofy parts about it, but like at its heart and at its soul, it really got me. It really got me. It got me then and it got me even more now. And it's like, I'm happy that I read it in both stages of my life because it's so interesting and so fulfilling, I guess, to see yourself grow. You know, you don't really see it in the moment, like as you're going through the motions, going through the days, but like when you look back on yourself 5 years ago, it's like, wow, I have made some progress. And, you know, just like once you, I guess, let go of a lot of the things that you spend so much time stressing about, you know, what your life is going to be and the kind of person you want to be, and you just kind of let a lot of that go, much easier said than done, you're a way happier person. And I'm probably getting a little too deep about this, but that is just the kind of person I am. I love this book. And to me, it's like, I don't know why. This book is kind of polarizing. I feel like people either love it or it's just not for them. And I think, again, I feel like it's a lot of the eldest daughters, a lot of the people that grew up in small towns and like wanted to escape it. I think this is like your heart and soul. And for some people, it's just not their book and they just don't get it and they don't connect with it in that way. But I feel like of Emily Henry's books, this is not most people's favorites. Like, obviously, it is an amazing, like, best-selling book. That's why it was the first one to become a movie. I'm not denying that. But I just feel like when I see a lot of readers talk about Emily Henry, this is not their favorite book. Like, a lot of people love Beach Read, like Happy Place, like even her newer books. Like, I feel like this one kind of gets pushed down the totem pole for a lot of people. But for me, I've read all her books. I've enjoyed all her books. I'm going to read every book that Emily Henry writes. But I just don't know that anything's going to compare to this one for me. Like, I just think that at the time in my life that I found it, and obviously still now, it just resonates so deeply. And I love it. I couldn't love it more. So obviously when the movie came out, I was very excited for it and I was waiting for it. And I watched it. I've watched it at this point and I have so many things to say. So it did take me a couple of days after the movie came out to watch it because I was still doing my reread. And I tried to avoid the reviews. I tried to avoid, you know, any TikToks I saw, whatever. I swiped really quickly, but I did start to get a sense from people that the movie was very different and a lot of people were kind of disappointed and they were, you know, just didn't feel like it was even the same story. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to go into it with open mind. Like, I'm going to see how I feel. And I know this might be surprising as someone that is like such a book reader, because I feel like a lot of readers, when it comes to their favorite books being adapted into movies, you know, they don't want anything to change. They want every little scene that they love, all the pieces of it that meant so much to them, everything about the characters, they want it to be exactly verbatim on the screen. And I am just not that much of a purist in that sense of, I can understand this isn't like an original thought. This is very obvious. You cannot word for word turn a book into a movie because obviously that would be about a 10-hour long movie. There's no time for that. And there are just certain things that do not translate from a book, you know, to a screenplay. And so many things happen in a book. A lot of a book is like an internal monologue. It's thoughts. And you can't just see that in a movie. Like, those things have to be said out loud. Like, a lot of the stuff you just learn about a character through the internal thoughts, it's like you have to actually see that on screen. And, you know, for me, I don't mind if things are changed when it's for logistical reasons. A lot of times, a lot of things happen in a book to build up to like, what is the main story? We got to get to the point. Sometimes certain scenes have to be combined, or certain things that when you really look at it, did this directly affect the plot? If the answer is no, it's going to get cut. You know, even sometimes that ends up being characters. Sometimes that ends up being entire scenes. Like, Sometimes things just have to get cut, and I can understand that. And obviously, if you love a book, you're going to want to see as much of it as possible in it. But for me, if things get kind of rearranged, if even if the story, like the plot is kind of changed somewhat to make it a better movie watching experience, but the bones of it all, of the plot, of like what you're meant to get out of it, of, you know, if you know who these characters are, if the moral of the story is there, if, you know, the core like scenes that you can't get rid of, that everyone like loves with their entire heart, if those are still in there and I can enjoy the movie and still like get those warm and fuzzies that I got from the book, I'm happy. And honestly, this movie was super different from the book, just in the sense of, I mean, a lot of it changed. Like, it kept that still like that basic structure of, yes, it had the present day timeline. You know, we started out with Poppy now in her, you know, late 20s life, like being the, you know, writer for the Vacation magazine, and she's going on all these trips and whatever. And you can see that she's kind of lost a little bit of her light, and she's unhappy, and she doesn't know what she wants. And you know that she has this conflict with Alex, and the last time she was happy was when she was with Alex. And it's like, who's Alex? What's going on here? Who are these people? And then you get the, you know, you start to get the flashbacks of them going on these vacations and meeting and whatever. So that basic structure was still there, but obviously they changed some things. So in the book, she kind of realizes the last time she was happy was when she was on a vacation with Alex. So she just reaches back out to Alex and tries to get him to go on another vacation with her. And that's whenever she learns, you know, he can't go on a vacation with her during this specific time because his brother is getting married. And so he ends up inviting her to the wedding. They end up doing, or she ends up like, you know, convincing him, oh, let's go on a short trip like before the wedding, and, you know, kind of working around his timeline. And then he ultimately ends up kind of like inviting her to the wedding, and she goes. That's what happens in the book. In the movie, and I think this was so much better. I'm sorry if you're mad about this. I'm just like, it made for a way better movie. In the movie, she, or Alex's brother has invited Poppy to the wedding already, and it's a matter of she needs to RSVP if she's going or not. And to me, this makes so much more sense, because with how close Poppy and Alex were for so long, like she was around his family, like the family all knew her, it would make complete and total sense that Alex's brother would have invited Poppy to his wedding. And it would make sense that, like, I liked the aspect that this thing, you know, this thing went down between Alex and Poppy, and they kind of had disconnected. Clearly their families don't really know what happened, like not to the full extent at least, because Alex's brother is like, Poppy, like, why haven't you RSVP'd? Like, why aren't you coming to my wedding? Like, it makes total sense that you would be here. And so that then leads her to be like, okay, oh my God, like, I want to go, obviously, I want to see Alex, and what do I do? And that's when she gets in contact with him to tell him, like, I can't go to the wedding. And then the second she speaks to him, hears this voice, obviously, she's like, I have to see him. I have to make this work. And the wedding essentially, you know, being a vacation rather than it being them going on this little vacation in Palm Springs, California, and then ending up doing some like wedding activities. To me, it made so much more sense that it was a destination wedding in Barcelona, and, you know, the idea that she was already going to be there for a vacation that she was writing and whatever. Like, yes, so much of the story was different because what you get in the book is them doing their little vacation activities in Palm Springs that, you know, a lot of it goes awry and it's kind of a mess, and they're kind of working out what's happened between them in that time. Like, that timeline was very condensed because it was literally just her going to Barcelona to go to the wedding, and it was her and Alex like sharing a car from the airport, and a lot of what happened kind of happened all at once, and them getting to Poppy's Airbnb. And but to me, it's like everything was covered kind of in that, and the pieces that we might have missed from that present day vacation of like things that went wrong, they managed to incorporate in some of the past vacations. So like you still got the laughs from it, you still got to see those parts of Alex and Poppy's relationship, which I think is kind of meant to be, if you can like go on a horrible vacation with somebody, if you can like go through these trials and tribulations and like still manage to have a good time, then like this is probably someone you're meant to spend your life with, you know? And so we still see like those things happen to the two of them, a lot of which was in kind of the opening scene of them meeting. So in the book, it kind of glosses over them two meeting. Like, they met at college orientation, and then they ended up sharing a ride home because like Poppy realized they lived from the same hometown, so she's gonna like ride home with Alex like for the holidays, I think it was, or like the end of the semester or something like that. They were riding home together. But in the movie, it was like they met because they were ride sharing, and that scene is really stretched out. It's like a lot of things happening. So in that scene now, we get introduced to Sarah. So in the movie, when we meet Alex, he has already been with Sarah, and Sarah is actually also from their hometown. This was a total shift because in the book, so this at first I was like, I don't know about this, because in the book, when Poppy and Alex met each other, he had not yet met Sarah. Like, Alex and Poppy met first. They had already like started their friendship, started their vacations, and then Alex met Sarah at college later on. And Sarah is very much like Alex in the way of, her main thing is she wants stability. You know, she's very kind of doesn't have, I don't want to say she's not ambitious, but she's not like Poppy in the way of, oh, she has like all this wanderlust and she just wants to travel and she doesn't know what she wants. She's very much like Alex, where she knows exactly what she wants in life, and she wants to be comfortable, and she wants, you know, they both were teachers, and so it made perfect sense that like he wants to live in his hometown. She's going to go get a teaching job in his hometown. She's going to move there with him. That's kind of the Alex and Sarah that we know from the book. But in the movie, Sarah is also from their hometown, and her family has like a real estate business, and she's going to like work with her family business. So yes, that was different because they already knew each other, and then Poppy comes into the mix, which for me, if I was Sarah, I'd probably have to commit a crime with the type of relationship Alex and Poppy ended up having. And, you know, Alex and Sarah are very on and off throughout the book and the movie. But ultimately we do know Alex and Poppy end up together. And if I was Sarah, I would simply crash out over that. So that was part where I was like, I don't know about that, but I think it made sense. And it made a lot of sense to Alex's character that like he would be someone that would totally just like date someone that's from his hometown, from his high school, and stay there with them. Like, that fits his character a lot. And, you know, it made sense that Sarah did have something going on herself. Like, she had family there. She was going to work for the family business. So it made sense. It wasn't just like her moving to the hometown for Alex, and then she's like essentially kind of stuck there now teaching once they've broken up. I liked the arc of Sarah in the movie, and kind of the whole part at the end where she ends up, you know, once her and Alex like break up, she ends up like becoming a flight attendant, kind of changing her life. I thought that was interesting. Like, I thought I liked Sarah more in the movie than I did in the book. And it was different, but like, I thought it was good. I thought it just added an extra little like element of another person that is figuring their life out, you know? Again, that's kind of the whole point of all of this, but that was a difference. And so they are taking their road trip home, and then things start going wrong. They lock the keys in the car. They have to stay in a motel that night. Like, none of that happens in the book, but it was interesting. It was funny. It made sense that like Alex and Poppy became such quick friends because they went through all of those things on that little road trip home. Like, because in the book, it's like they just drive home together, and yeah, they kind of have a conversation in the car, which we got so much of that conversation, and that was great. In the movie, the little road trip, and the saxophone music, and like Alex being super like wanting to be quiet and just driving, and Poppy just like driving him crazy, and him like being like, who is this girl? So we got to see so much of that still. But yeah, I feel like with the keys getting locked in the car and just like things going wrong, that, you know, were some pieces that were kind of taken from what was the present day vacation in the book. We got to see some of that, and it just made sense. Like, after you go through something like that with someone, you know, you're probably gonna continue to be their friend. Like, that's like a core memory of like having this horrible road trip home with this person you don't really know. Like, you're stuck in this traffic, you lock the keys in the car, you have to like get a hotel together, you know, realizing you're from the same hometown, like learning about each other's past and all that stuff. That I thought was great, and I liked it, and it made sense. And because we spent longer on that, there was less time spent on other of the pacifications. And I can't acknowledge, it's hard. I love a movie. I love a book to a movie, but present day times, so many books now are being turned into miniseries, which in a lot of ways is so much better because you do get to see a lot more of the book. Obviously, if you have like 8 hours worth of a miniseries versus a 2-hour movie, you can get a lot more out of the book. So, you know, again, I think what they ended up using and what they showed of the pacifications was fine in the movie. I thought it worked. But if this was a miniseries, we definitely could have had an episode kind of about each of the vacations and gotten more into depth. But so I do think it would have been maybe better, but I thought it worked. I thought they kind of, again, combined some aspects of the vacations. I feel like the parts that mattered were shown. You know, you got the vacation where you had the whole Buck and Daisy situation, and you know, Poppy like going to hook up with Buck, and her and Alex's little moment, which this was very important to me in the book. The part where they're like sitting around the fire and Poppy's kind of snuggled up to Buck, and like Alex is talking to Daisy, and they kind of have that wordless moment across the fire of like, are you okay? Like Alex is checking on her, asking if she's okay, and she's like, yeah, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. Those little things are what makes an entire story for me. And I was so happy that that ended up making it directly into the movie. So we saw that. We saw the moment with Buck. You saw, you know, that's kind of when their relationship, it seems like, shifted. And Alex really started to fall in love with Poppy in that vacation. So we still got to see that. We still got to have like the New Orleans moment. You know, you had that they were going to go to Norway, and him like coming and taking care of her. Like you got, I think, what were the most important bits of the past vacations. And the scene where he showed up to take care of her, that in the book was like, that's a very important moment, obviously. So I was glad that made it in. The thing about from the movie to the book that was different, the only part that really kind of bothered me a little bit, I thought that Tom Blythe was really good. He was really good. I have to say, next to Emily Bader, it's hard to make the comparison because she was just perfect. I don't want to hear anyone talking about how they're not blonde. Like, I don't care. Yes, they're blonde in the book, but Emily Bader was meant to play Poppy. Like, she was the perfect amount of quirky without being like a pick-me, and she just was so unapologetically herself and lived so out loud and was just fun, and you just fall in love with her. Like, I feel like every person watching that movie, and Alex, it's just, how do you not fall in love with this girl? And she was just so naturally beautiful. Like, it was so refreshing to see someone like Emily Bader on screen. Like, I'm sorry, we gotta say it, like, her face moved naturally, and she just like looked like a real person. She looked like a girl that you could live next door to, and she was just like fun, and just, she just like lit up on screen, and she was so good. So I feel like it's hard for Tom Blythe to compete with that because she just was Poppy. Like, I believed every single thing that came out of her mouth, and I just thought she was perfect, and I just like wanted to be her best friend. I loved her so much. Tom Blythe was good, but I do think that Alex's character in the movie was just a little different than book Alex in the way that, which made me a little sad. I feel like he played Alex a little meaner, and a lot of that is the script. It's not him. But, you know, in the book, yes, Alex and Poppy are so different from each other, and yes, like, there are moments where Alex is kind of like eye rolling at Poppy, and she's always so like full of life and bright and whatever and energetic, and he's just like not that. There are times where he's like tired. He just wants to sit at the bar and scroll on his phone. Like, yes, we know all of that from book Alex, but I feel like book Alex always knew who Poppy was, and it's like he accepted who she was. Even if that's not who he was a little more understanding of it, and he wasn't so kind of hostile about it. I feel like movie Alex, one line in particular that really kind of like grinded my gears, where I was like, whoa, I kind of had to pause for a second. Whenever he's, you know, shows up to take care of Poppy, which still adore him, love him. That was a beautiful moment. When he shows up to take care of Poppy for the Norway trip, and she says, I don't deserve you. Movie Alex says, I know. So book Alex never in a million years would have said that. I don't deserve you. You do not respond to with, I know. And it's like, I didn't even feel like he said it in like a funny, sarcastic way. It was kind of just like, I know. I didn't love that part. That, and then also, you know, a big change that happens is the vacation where they go on it with their, you know, Sarah comes and then Poppy's boyfriend comes and they have that vacation together. In the movie, it's in Tuscany. You know, they were having their little couples vacation, and, you know, it seems like Poppy and the guy she's with, it's going really well, and this should be like her dream guy. And then Alex is once again with Sarah. And in the movie, once Poppy has the pregnancy scare and, you know, Alex is helping her out and he's like, I'll always be there for you. I really liked that in the movie, that moment happened where she kind of had the realization of like, oh my God, like I'm going through this horrible thing and all I want is Alex. Like, it's just, he's the one that's here that's like making me feel better, making me feel more comfortable. Like, I just want him. And she kind of like tries to kiss him in that moment of like, you know, she just was clearly out of her mind and it hit her all at once. And she's like, oh my God, Alex is like who I want to be with, tries to kiss him, but they don't kiss. And I like that better because to me, it's like the fact that they didn't actually fully kiss, go through with anything until present day, it just keeps the tension going for longer. And the way that Alex kind of had to stop and like didn't let it happen and was like, wait, that felt true to Alex. Cause it's like, this means the world to me. If we're doing this, like, I will end it all. Like, Sarah, goodbye. Like, I will stop time and we will be together, but like, I'm not doing this if I don't know that she means this. So him like stopping everything and being like, what was that? And her being like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, whatever. You know, Poppy obviously did mean it, but she freaked out and was like, oh my God, he's my best friend. I don't want to ruin this. Oh my God, like, understandably freaked out. But that was her opportunity. Like, Alex needs straightforward. He needs like, tell me what you want. Like, tell me what you want. I will give it to you. But you need to like, tell me and you need to know. Like, you need to decide, make a decision. What are we doing? And she didn't take that opportunity. So he said, like, that was in his moment where he was like, it's never going to work with us. Like, she's never going to want me the way that I want her. So he immediately proposes to Sarah the next day. That crazy. I would have, that's horrible. Like, that was heartbreaking. My heart physically in my chest, I was like, oh my God. I felt it like being ripped in half in my chest for Poppy. But I get it. You know, he spent like all these years loving her and it's like, it's never going to work. Sarah wants what I want. Like, I want to start a life. I want a family. I want all these things. I'm going to propose to her. And he's had the ring and he did it. And he did it. And she said yes. And that was so heart-wrenching and horrible to watch in the movie. But I think it made it a better story. And I'm not mad that they did that. But the conversation that did follow, where Alex and Poppy kind of had their little fallout, Alex was a little mean in that conversation. And I get it. I fully get it. Again, he spent so much time loving her. If she would just speak up, he would give her the world, but she can't, and that's frustrating. But it felt like he was a little bit meaner of like the Poppy, you're living in a fantasy land, like, rather than that, I'm not just another vacation for you. I just feel like the book, it was phrased a little gentler and a little more of like, oh, Alex, versus like, okay, Alex, geez, like, you know, he was just a little more aggressive in the movie. But altogether, as you can tell, I loved it. The final, when we got the whole scene of them, like her ripping down the plastic and the Airbnb and the kiss in the rain and all of that, it was just so good. And then when you go to the wedding, and God, this was a moment for me that hit, because again, I feel like I'm so Poppy in so many ways, but also so Alex. Whatever Alex was, you know, wanting to make that plan right away of like, so, like, what's our plan? What are we gonna do? And she's like, don't ruin this right now. Immediately, I'm gonna crash out. Like, what do you mean? Ruin what? Like, let's just, it's not that serious. If we're gonna be together, let's just talk about it, okay? Like, it's not that serious, but are you gonna move home? What are we gonna do? Like, we're not doing this. I waited 10 years for this. Like, we're doing this. So what's the plan? Completely valid, Alex. I get it. Like, that would be me. And her hesitating, I immediately would be like, what's going on here? So I thought that moment and everything, I thought it was great the way it played out. And obviously it was a little different at the end of the movie. She does fly home, whatever, to find him. Her running after him was a great full circle moment of, she hated running. She told him she hated running, but she ran after him because she loves him. Thought that was great. And honestly, I'm like surprised that wasn't in the book in a way. I know she ends up running around after him and she goes and she finds him at the bar and whatever, but the scene of physically watching her run after him at full speed for 10 minutes, which she's better than me because I would have simply just waited the 20 minutes for him to come home. I don't know, actually. If you're there and you're in the moment and you're like, I can see him, he's right there. Like, I get wanting to run after him. But it was just so funny watching for so long, her running after him and him like not hearing her and being oblivious. But yeah, it like added some drama to it to have it be like in the middle of the street and like all of that. It made me laugh whenever like they were literally in the middle of the street and he was like, let's do this over here. And like walked to the median and continued the conversation. It just made me laugh. But yeah, that final scene at the end and then just like seeing them in New York after and him like moving there and teaching, it just, I think they really bring out the best in each other. Like Poppy, you know, Alex does want that comfort and all of that, but like Poppy always saw the potential in him and like wanted to push him to do more. And like, yes, you could just teach at the high school, but you could also like go get your PhD. You could, you know, do more. And like she saw that in him, and then he also could see through her of like, yes, you're going on all these vacations to escape life. Like vacations are great, but like you want to have a home to come home to, and like he was her home, and like they were each other's home. And I just love this book. I love this story. I thought the movie was great, honestly. Like, yes, in the moment as you're watching it, it's hard as a person that's read the book to not like notice like that's different, that's different, that's different. But it's been a few days since I watched it. I've kind of like let myself kind of simmer and think about it, and I've just loved it more and more, and I just want to rewatch it. Like, I'm going to rewatch it. I think it was a really good adaptation. Like, I feel like a lot of people are kind of upset about it, but I just don't feel that way. Like, I think it was great. And the book and the movie can be different from each other. They're always going to be. But the things that I think that they changed, I think just made total sense. And I was fine with it. And Emily Bader is my new girl crush. And I want to see Tom Blythe in more things. Like, it was just so good. So now that I've reread People We Meet on Vacation and I loved it even more, I want to go and reread Book Lovers. And I think I'm going to do that next because I liked Book Lovers. I don't know that I didn't ever feel like I loved it as much as other people did. And I think just like knowing the story, I think I would love it a lot more reading it now. So I'm planning to go and reread that next. And I am probably going to make a video talking about it because I think it's going to have the same effect on me where I'm like, oh my God. Because Nora and Poppy have some crossover, I feel like, in their sort of characteristics in a way. And yeah, so I love Emily Henry. She didn't have a book that came out this year, and I am wondering, I mean, obviously she's got a lot going on. I think she's very focused on her like adaptations and all of this. We saw the same thing happen with Taylor Jenkins Reid when all of her, books started to get announced as movies and TV shows and whatever. She took a little break, took a little step back, and I'm like, that's fine. But I just want to see more of Emily Henry, and I love like watching all the press and stuff with her there. Like, it just, as a person that writes, I have a few books, if you guys don't know. It's just the idea of seeing like these characters that you created come to life and be real people standing in front of you. Like, I shed a tear the other day because I saw like this photo shoot come out of Emily Henry with like Emily Bader and Tom Blythe behind her, and I'm just like, imagine writing these characters and then like these perfect actors get casted to play them and you see it come to life. Like, that is my greatest dream in the whole entire world. So I'm just like so happy for her. And I think Emily Henry put a lot of herself into Poppy, especially just like with the way that she dresses and the bright colors, like all the things that she went to, all the press and stuff. Emily Henry's in her like neon orange dress with the little cutout bedazzle on the side and her like lime green sweater and her fun earrings. And she's just like so cute and she's so fun. And I just like, I love her. I want to be her best friend. But yeah, guys, with all that said, if you love People We Meet on Vacation, I have a book called When Fate Breaks. It's very different, but same sort of structure, like I said, of like the past. But let me go get it off my bookshelf. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. This is my book, When Fate Breaks. This was the first book that I ever wrote, and I have now written 4 books. I'm writing my 5th, which is insane because, again, whenever I posted my first book review of People We Meet on Vacation on this channel, I had not written any books. But yeah, if you love People We Meet on Vacation, I really think you would love When Fate Breaks. It's another friends to lovers story. It's the same sort of thing where present day, these friends aren't speaking anymore. Something went down between them. They are reuniting for a certain reason. And you kind of like get to see their story play out of like past chapters of back whenever they met when they were children, like young children, family friend situation. And you start to see like all the different times, once a year they might get together and you see their story build. You see them grow up. You see them start to fall for each other and you see life kind of pull them apart in different directions. And I love this book. It's my first baby, and I feel like now because I've written like several other books, I don't think about it as much anymore. And this book like really brought me back to my first book. Like, I just have been thinking about it the last few days, and I'm like, God, I love this book. I need to talk about it more. Like, I want more people to read it because I just like, it's still to me like I'm so proud of it, and I still just like love it so much. So anyways, if you want another friends to lovers story that like tears your heart out and then pieces it back together, When Fate Breaks probably be for you. It is on Kindle Unlimited, and paperbacks are on Amazon. But anyways, that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'm going to reread Book Lovers, so I'm sure I'll make some sort of video, reading vlog, or just a reread book review situation talking about it, because I like to talk, and it's been a minute since I've come on YouTube and done that about books, but I am so back and I'm so ready, and 2026 is going to be an exciting year. I'm convinced of it. Anyways, if you've been here this long, thank you so much. I love you, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.